This is the Jack Murphy Podcast. Here's your host, Jack Murphy.
I'll be honest with you, I'm a little bit uncomfortable, a little bit embarrassed. I feel like one of those 18-year-old little girl influencers on TikTok or Instagram. You know, my video consultant, John Carter, he's in the community, you know what I mean, Alpha?
He's in the community?
He's always advising me on what will look better and backgrounds. And one of his
and
big
you need
things,
somebody like that. Good for you.
one of his big things is he's always wanted me to get one of these ring lights because he says my eyes are dark. So I got one, and then he's always complaining that I shake the table when I touch it and the camera looks shaky. I said, well, I need a steady cam because I've got big, clammy hands that does that. But anyway, we'll see what it looks like at the end of today's episode. So
did you get a steady cam?
No steady cam.
No.
I just have my same cam, but I've got the ring light now.
Green light, okay.
Yeah, but the problem with the ring light is if you look up too much, it reflects
Right.
in your glasses,
Yeah.
and then you look like a real idiot, So anyway, we'll see how it goes. Well, today's the big 250th birthday of the United States Marine Corps, and I have an official U.S. Marine with us today, Alpha, Kelly
Semper Fi.
O'Neill.
Semper Fi, thank you very much.
Kelly O'Neill joins us on the show. Kelly, I heard the most amazing story about the Marine Corps over the weekend that I'd never heard before. I don't know if the rest of you have heard this, but it was 250 years ago, right after we got our independence from the English, and we had always been protected by the British Navy in our trade. When American ships went around the world, sailing ships with goods and people to trade with other countries, we'd always been protected because the British owned the oceans at the time. And of course, after the war, they were no longer willing to provide that service to us for whatever reason. And so
Right. Imagine that.
we were actually losing cargoes and ships and most importantly, people. There were Barbary pirates, which
That's
is,
right.
down where I guess Sudan, Somalia,
Libya.
Libya.
Yep.
So they
Africa,
were capturing our ships, stealing the cargo, and selling the people on the boats as slaves.
Mm.
And so our government got really angry about it, and they put together this group called the United States Marines. And the first one sailed down there. There were only a few Marines on board.
Right.
I think there were like 12, but they had a bunch of mercenaries from Greece with them who they trained on the way. These dudes landed, went 500 miles, defeated the pirates, took over the palace or whatever, and basically took over the country in just a couple of days. And that was the birth of the Marine Corps. I had no idea. And then I remembered why I know this song. I don't know, but when I was a kid, we would always sing the Marine Corps song. It goes, from the mouth of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli. And I guess that's where it came from, huh?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
So the Marine Corps was founded during the Revolutionary War, and the reason that they really founded the Marines they were sharpshooters. They would sit up in the crow's nests of ships and shoot down on the enemy, and they were expert marksmen. And
Wow.
one interesting fact was the Marines wore a emblem on top of their hat. I can't remember the name of it. It's been a while. But that's how they identified enemy from foe, was they would see the top of the Marine Corps' cover, and it would have that emblem on it, and they wouldn't shoot them. But actually, the Marine Corps has two birthdays.
Yeah, because they disbanded the Marine Corps in 1783. Look at me with my facts here.
Yeah,
And then they when did they bring it back?
July the 11th, 1789, I believe it was.
Okay, so there was a little short period where they thought we didn't need them, and boy, were they wrong.
Right. Yeah, they were.
And they brought them back in a hurry. Well, now, what do you do? How do you celebrate today Kelly, as an ex-Marine? I mean,
We
excuse,
just
not an ex-Marine. You're always a
no,
Marine.
right, right. So I mean, I just bask in the the glory of the Marine Corps. It's
Yeah.
it's got a rich tradition, and we're very tight as a unit. Uh, it's a true brotherhood. It's probably the largest fraternity in the world, and we all have each other's six. It's just amazing. Some even consider it a cult because we're
He
so
still,
so
he
tight.
still, he still talks that military lingo, Alpha. You notice that they've got your six.
He's
That
a
means
Marine.
Well,
you're
you
back.
don't forget some of that stuff.
Now,
Boot camp.
what made a young man from Cedartown, Georgia, decide he wanted to go join the Marines? Because, I used to hear these stories about when I was about 21. I lived in Savannah, and the Marine Corps Paris Island was, very close by, and they were always, when those Marines would get leave, they were always down on River Street. But
Yeah.
it was so hot and so humid in the summer, and you could just imagine those poor guys going through boot camp over there. You just felt sorry
Oh,
for them.
you're talking about San Diego?
No,
No,
at
Paris
Paris
Island.
Island down in
Paris
South
Island. Oh,
Carolina.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So I had my dad served in World War II.
Mm-hmm.
He got lucky, and he was a shipboard Marine in the Atlantic, so he didn't go to the Pacific like many of his buddies did, and they didn't make it back.
Right.
And my brother, my oldest brother, was a Marine in Vietnam. He was in
So it
artillery
was in your family. Where did you do your basic?
at Paris Island. If you're east of the Mississippi, you go to Paris Island. If you're
Was
west,
it
you go
what
to
time
San
of the
Diego.
year? What time of the year did you go?
It was in November. It was
You were
in
lucky.
November.
You were lucky.
But it was still, I mean, they still had the sand. They still had, yeah, you're considering others. Yes, in July, I would not want to be there at all.
No. I
But
mean,
we
listen,
still had the sand gnats.
when
So,
I lived in Savannah, there's nothing hotter than summertime in Savannah, because you're just far enough inland where you don't get the ocean breeze. And
yeah,
it's 98, 99, and the humidity, you can cut it with a knife. And that's the way Paris Island was in the summer. So
Had a
and
friend
and
who
this,
was
and
had a
go
friend who
ahead.
planned to write a book about that area down there, and he said it was the land of piss ants, pines, and prostitutes.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
And buddy, first
and
of the
sand
month,
Yes.
the first of the month, when all those military guys, is around Savannah, you've got the biggest Army base in the country there, Fort Stewart.
Mm,
And at the time, you had Hunter Army Airfield, and you had the Marine Corps Paris Island, and then you had the Buford Naval Air Station,
you're correct.
all within, close proximity.
Right.
So there would be some weekends when you just didn't want to go down River Street, because there would be some wild things going on from these guys on leave.
Yeah, you want to be involved in that. I can guarantee you.
All right, Kelly. Well, listen,
But
we just wanted to wish you and the Marine Corps happy anniversary today.
I do appreciate it, and Semper Fi to all my Marines out there.
All right, buddy.
Amen.
Thanks for stopping by. So they haven't, I guess they haven't passed it yet, Alpha, but they've come to an agreement on the
Correct.
CR, the continuing resolution.
Right. 8 Democrats have jumped ship, as it were,
Yeah.
much to the
So
chagrin of Schumer.
you can look back and say basically that they just wasted 40 days of our time
Yeah, and money.
and made a lot of people uncomfortable, possibly some people hungry, a lot of canceled air flights and delayed travel. So it cost the country a lot of money, and they really didn't accomplish anything other than they told them that they would, they promised to bring it up. And there's nobody more unhappy today than, Schumer.
Chuck Schumer.
You're going to see a lot of this on the news. Those evil Republicans have been holding us hostage, and something's got to happen. He gives the old double arm thing a lot. He does.
Chucky.
And, I saw him do a short interview, and you notice a change. When I saw, you mentioned Tim Kaine from Virginia, the senator, he looked a little conciliatory when I saw him on the news, But Schumer didn't. He immediately just went, same. It's like Nancy Pelosi's gone. That was her playbook, and it's his playbook where all you do is badmouth the Republicans. It's never, well, we secured, the right to negotiate this later. Or he just says bad things about Republicans. That's all he does.
And of course, AOC, who's jockeying to take the place of Nancy Pelosi, she's jumped into it. And the newly elected mayor of New York has sounded off about it. So he's inserting himself now on national politics. And
now, do you think that AOC is going to run for Schumer's Senate seat?
I have no doubt.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're probably right about that. So, but I think Schumer's probably on the way out.
Yeah. And that's why he is melting down so frequently, is because he feels the heat. He knows they're coming for him.
Yeah, I think he probably is going to lose his leadership role.
Yeah,
because this was kind of his whole operation, and I think it's cost him a lot.
And you mentioned Tim Kaine. I don't know if you heard what he said about this whole thing.
I just saw the little joint press conference that he did with a couple of other senators, and he was, pretty meek and mild. But did you see something else?
He said he voted against it several times because he was so wrapped up in Virginia politics, he really didn't know what he was voting for or against. So,
does anybody believe that?
Come on. Term limits.
Does anybody really believe that? I don't think so.
I didn't know what I was voting for.
Well, we'll see what will happen. And of course, what they're fighting about is, they say, health care.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure that's really what it was.
It's not.
Or not. I think they just want to do anything they can do to stifle the Republicans, period.
Well, the whole thing was a trap, because when they set up the ACA, the Affordable Care Act, they discovered it's not so affordable after all. So they were going to have to provide subsidies for the insurance companies in order to make it affordable for the people. So they set up these subsidies to sunset on December 31st of 2025. It was supposed to happen. And then when all of this came up, it was Trump is trying to do away with these subsidies because he's against health care for everyone, when it was going to sunset anyway. So now what they were pushing for, I don't know what the new resolution will include, but it was a 1-year extension of that to provide 1 more year of subsidies to the insurance companies so that they could make that affordable, which it did was skyrocket the cost of insurance all the way around.
The whole thing's been a disaster. I mean, from the very get-go, it was supposed to reduce the cost of health care. It was going to save trillions of dollars. Your health care was going to be more affordable. It didn't. It did just the opposite. It cost more. It made everybody, unless you were getting a subsidy from the government, it made everybody's health care more expensive, and you got less for your money.
Right.
Like, I remember when it happened, I was on my company's insurance. Well, they were paying for half and I paid for my half. And then I paid for my family's part as well. And my premium went up so much, I couldn't believe it.
Right.
I mean, this was 13 years ago, and I was paying $1,500 a month for, a family policy, and I had a $10,000 deductible. $10,000. So, for the stuff you really needed it for, your everyday visits to the urgent care, your family, it didn't cover any of that.
Right.
It didn't cover. I mean, if you got cancer or something, had to go in the hospital, yeah, but you still had to come out of pocket with $10,000. So the whole thing was a joke. So everything Obama promised was untrue.
It will actually reduce the deficit by $4 trillion over the long term.
Nope.
Reducing the waste and inefficiency in Medicare and Medicaid
Nope.
will pay for most of this plan. It will slow the growth of healthcare costs for our families, our businesses, and our government. There will be a provision in this plan that requires us to come forward with more spending cuts if the savings we promised don't materialize.
No, that's the 4 big lies of Obamacare right there.
Right.
None of that happens. Terrible.
like you.
So I thought today I wanted to ask what's your favorite, war movie for Veterans Day? If you're gonna watch one, because all the Netflix, network TV, they'll all have a bunch of veteran themed movies tomorrow. What's your favorite military movie of all time?
Well, mine would be Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah,
I think that's high on the list.
That's right up there on my list. I have a list of the top 10, and other than, let's see, they got number 1, The Grand Illusion from 1937. I don't even know if I've ever seen that.
I haven't.
The Best Years of Our Lives from 1946. I didn't see that. The Great Escape I've seen, but I don't remember.
Right.
1963.
Steve McQueen.
Platoon. Okay, Steve McQueen. Is that the one where he jumps the fence with a motorcycle?
Right, yeah.
Platoon, great movie. Born on the 4th of July. To me, that's not really that's more of an anti-war movie.
Yeah, it's more of a protest movie, I think.
Saving Private Ryan, number 6. I'd have to bump it up a little bit. Thin Red Line, another great movie.
Yeah.
Hacksaw Ridge, great movie.
Yeah. Clint Eastwood.
No, yeah. And then Dunkirk, which was good, but
I thought it was a great movie.
What's the one? It was good. What's the one where the guy plays he's a medic, and he brings all the soldiers down the cliff? He's from Bedford, Virginia. The actual person that the movie was about, he was a Seventh-day Adventist or something, and they didn't believe in, he couldn't fight, but he wanted to serve, and he became a medic.
Oh. Somebody will know.
Big movie.
Yeah.
I can't think of the name of it right now, but that would be way up there on my list as well. And then at number 10, they have 1917, which have you seen that?
What is it again?
1917.
No.
It's a really strange movie. It's made from the point of view of these 2 soldiers who are in the trenches in World War I, and they were asked to take a message, and they had to go through all these tunnels while they're getting shot at, and it's from their point of view. It was a pretty neat movie. But
the cinematography on that, as I do remember that, was amazing because they had one continuous scene that followed him running through the trenches and then onto the battlefield, and the explosions and everything. Was amazing.
It's kind of like Call of Duty, only much better.
I tell you what, it should be there. The Dirty Dozen, I think.
Well, I wrote down The Dirty Dozen and Bridge over the River Kwai.
Yeah, okay. My dad's favorite all-time movie was Sergeant York. I don't know if you ever saw that or not.
I remember Sergeant York.
Gary Cooper.
Well, any of those would be great to watch on Veterans Day, and hope all of you that have served have a great Veterans Day tomorrow.
What really happened on that Thursday here at Augusta High School that led to Chris Wood's death? The fuck is that? I'm dying in this fucking country-ass fucked up town. Shit flying in my mouth. The fuck, I can't see, pollen. Let's get the fuck out of this country, motherfucker. I can't even see me.
Finished up the Murdoch murder show.
You texted me that it was getting
night.
Very intense.
I got kind of in the middle of episode 2. When they were down in the Bahamas or wherever on that trip.
Yeah,
I thought this is getting a little bit silly, but so I paused it. But I went back to it last night. I got back into it, and I finished it up. What an ending!
Yeah.
Now, is there going to be more?
No. Well, there's 8 episodes. I don't know how far you're into.
Oh, I only got to. There's only 3 on there right now.
Oh, well, yeah. It's a total of 8 episodes.
It ended with the murder, and the cops coming.
Okay.
So there's more episodes coming, but man, it got intense in a hurry.
Excellent series. I thought I was honored to be a part of it. Only in the first episode, but still a lot of fun.
It's really, really good. I'll tell you another one I started on. Somebody bought a computer in our family, and we got a free Apple TV subscription for 3 months. So we've been binge watching everything on there. And there's a new show. Who is the actress that was the co-star in Better Call Saul? She played. It was his girlfriend, and it was his law partner for a while. She's blonde. She's got a new series on Apple. I think it's called Publis. I believe is how you say it. It's a strange series, but it's very well done. It's a sci-fi thing. They get a signal from space, and the whole world goes crazy. It's pretty good. I liked it.
I watched. There's a good series on Netflix. It's a very, very short series called Death by Lightning. It's about.
I saw it over the weekend. I loved it.
Yeah, thought it was very good. I thought the language was a little bit too modern for 1880.
Yeah. And it was gruesome.
Yeah.
There were parts of it that were absolutely gruesome. It's about the assassination of President James Garfield.
Right.
And, I didn't know anything about Garfield, but he served after the Civil War, and he didn't want to run for president. He got nominated and got, nominated, and then he got elected, and he was assassinated while he was in office. And it turns out that the bullet that he was shot with would not have killed him.
Right.
It didn't hit any organs or anything, but there was, how medicine was back then. Thank God for modern medicine. Some surgeon, cut-happy surgeon, starts whacking him open every few hours to look for the bullet and gave him an infection. And that's what actually killed him. It was
digging in there with unsanitary equipment was kind of doing.
But he'd dig in there and wipe it on his shirt, and it was horrible.
What did make me realize,
and it was very realistic looking when they were cutting him open too.
But it made me realize how corrupt the politics of that time was. With Roscoe Conklin, who was a senator from New York, and he was involved in the Tammany Hall and all the corruption there.
It made me realize that politics has always been corrupt.
Right, and it's still that way.
We like to think back that we like to think that back then those people were more honest.
Yeah,
and had the country and they had us at heart, but they're no different than the crooks that we have in office today.
And I didn't know that they were trying to get Ulysses Grant to run for what would have been a third term. Mm-hmm. After him is Rutherford B. Hayes, and then that election, which got Garfield, but they wanted Grant to run again for another term. And he was a known drunk by that.
She was gone for a minute, Alpha, but she's back now. I'm talking, of course, about Brittany Spears. My daughter, for some reason, she was real big on that, what was it, Free Brittany Spears movement. Did you know about that? It was when her father had that.
Only peripherally, yeah.
Well, her father had some sort of protective order.
Right.
Where basically he had control of her whole life, her finances, or he could have her committed whenever he wanted to or whatever. And a lot of young women that were fans of Brittany when they were younger started this Free Brittany movement. And my daughter she put that on her Facebook and everything. And I said, she's crazy, don't you? And she goes, I don't think she is. I think it's her dad. He's trying to control her and take her money. I said, I think she's crazy. And boy, once she got the freedom, the crazy came out because she does all these goofy Instagram posts, and she deleted her Instagram. She's 43 now, by the way.
Right.
She deleted her Instagram account, and then a few days later, she came back on with this bizarre post. And of course, she was wearing lingerie, which is all she wears on Instagram anymore. And her house is always a wreck. There's stuff all over the floor, and she dances around and giggles and outfits like that. She put on Instagram, so much has happened this year, it's crazy. I try to live within my means, and the book Draw the Circle is an incredible perspective. Get your ballerina feet, circle, and your own boundaries. It's incredibly strict and somewhat of a form of a prayer, but with so many endless possibilities in life, it's important to do you and keep it simple. I know there's a confusing side, too. The devil is in the details. We'll get to that later.
Yeah, there are a number of people who are questioning whether that is really Brittney or some person who looks like her who's doing these things.
I think that's her. I think that's really her. She's
and if it is, I think she suffered a great deal of abuse as a younger girl.
Yeah, when she was 12 or 13, her mom and dad were mainly her mom, was dragging her all over the place to try to get her and her little sister. They drug her everywhere, and then she hit. And she was huge.
Yes.
For a number of years there. I mean, I remember taking my daughter to see her when she was about 18 or 19. I think my daughter was like 12. And I went with her and a bunch of her girlfriends to the concert. And there were 30,000 people there. And I mean, they were rabid. And it was like watching a little child on stage.
And I think the abuse goes much deeper than that. I think there was other types of abuse that took place. I mean, there's a number of stories about some of the young actors in Disney, how they were abused emotionally and sexually.
Right.
So I think there's a lot of that's probably been weighing on her. And I do Sweet Magnolias with her sister, Jamie Lynn. And Jamie Lynn, very sweet woman. She's kind of reserved, and it took me a while to actually have conversations with her, but she's very down to earth, very grounded, very much into her family and her girls who play sports.
Now, they tried to make her a pop star too, but she didn't have Brittney's talent.
And with limited success, but she is quite a good actor. So, and like I said, a very, very warm and nice person.
And not crazy like Brittney.
Well, I feel really bad for Brittney and what
I do
what
too.
she's
I mean,
going
I
through
do
and
too.
what she's been through. It's awful.
That's why I'd like to see somebody. She needs to get off Instagram and Twitter or whatever else she's on and get some help. Is what she.
Hey, I'm just here to remind you that when life isn't horrible, it's actually pretty good. So if you just don't think about how horrible it is and think about how good it is, then it gets better. Even though the horrible stuff's still happening, there's still a lot of good stuff.
They had the induction ceremony at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland over the weekend. I'm always disappointed, usually, by who gets inducted into the Hall of Fame. When they first came, when they first came out with it, I went, "That's not rock and roll. Why are they in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? There should be a hip hop Hall of Fame, a pop Hall of Fame." But the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, it's kind of a joke in that they, your dog all right today?
Oh, yeah, he's doing well today.
Very handsome haircut.
That's wicked.
That's a very handsome haircut.
Thank you.
So over the weekend, I'm happy about this one. I'm shocked they haven't gotten in before. Bad Company finally got in.
Oh, man, yeah.
Love Bad Company. The White Stripes.
I know them.
Okay. Outkast. Please. Outkast? That's a pop. That's not Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Was that 90s? I don't even know when that was.
No, isn't Outkast the one that had the Polaroid song? Shake It.
Here
like
we are, two
Polaroid.
guys in radio. I can't remember that one.
I think they had that Polaroid song. I played their stuff, so it was either 2000s or 90s. I don't know. Soundgarden, that's fine. And then Cyndi Lauper. Cyndi Lauper's had like 2 hits.
What? Girls just want to have fun.
And they were both pop hits. And I'm sorry, but I hate this. She's either on TV complaining about her psoriasis, or she's she goes to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and she had a moment of silence to honor the LGBTQ community.
Well,
did somebody die in the LBGTQ
yeah, what was the silence
community?
for?
What was the silence for?
Yeah.
And if you're not in the community, why are you stopping to just take your award and shut up?
I'm hearing a lot of complaints, not only about her, but about Dolly Parton too, whose show
what does she
has
do?
gone from a tribute to America to a tribute to LGBTQ. With
Dolly
a lot of
Parton has?
Yeah, I was stunned by that too. With a lot of androgynous and same-sex dancers, or
where did you hear this?
ambiguous
From
sex
an
dancers
eyewitness account or something?
Yeah, there was a guy who promoted the Dolly Parton rodeo. What do they call it? Anyway,
down in Myrtle Beach.
Not sure, but
they have one. She has one in Myrtle Beach, and we used to go down there with the kids all the time back in the day. And she had one. It's a crazy thing. It's a big arena, and dirt in the middle, and stands all around it.
Yeah.
And you went in, and you paid one price, and you sat there. It was like being at a rodeo, except that you had a little table that was in front of you that went all the way around the arena. Every row had and they brought you barbecued chicken, iced tea in a mason jar, and a potato and rolls or something. And at one end of it, it looked like a plantation mansion, and they had a kind of a mock North versus South thing with people riding horses and all. It was, entertaining for kids or whatnot. The food was terrible, but
kind of sounds like a perfect thing that Dolly Parton would do.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what the other one's like, but
well, this was a guy who promoted, I guess, and sold tickets for it, and he said he was so turned off by it he wouldn't promote it anymore.
I'm surprised by that.
Yeah, that surprises me too. And again, I mean, that's I don't have eyewitness testimony to that or first-hand knowledge, but
I'm gonna dig into that.
All right, yeah,
I'm gonna dig into that and see what I can find out about it. Now, Alpha, you're in the biz, the television, movie, acting business, and inside stories like that Dolly story and rubbing shoulders with Brittany's little sister, getting the inside scoop there. But have you ever sent any unsolicited pornographic photos via text to any of your co-stars?
Define unsolicited.
The reason I ask is there's a story today about Jeremy Renner.
Oh, no.
The actor
right.
who was in, he's been in a lot of great stuff. And of course,
Mayor of Kingstown with great series. Yeah.
Yeah. But, big movies. And he played Jason Bourne. He's done some big stuff, but he got ran over by a snow track.
Yeah.
One of these great big machines that they go up and down the ski slope. He lived, I guess he still does, out in Idaho or somewhere.
I'm not sure that's where he was living. He was there at the time. I'm not sure that's where he's from. But
he bought one of these. He bought one of these snow track machines. They cost a fortune, but he bought it so he could get around his property and up and down his driveway when they had these big blizzards. And for some reason, he got out of it, didn't put it in. Anyway, it ran over him, and it like he broke a bunch of ribs, punctured his lung. He almost.
I think he lost a leg and an eye in that too.
He lost a leg?
I believe so.
I don't think he lost a leg.
Huh?
Maybe that's what he's sending out, the pornographic pictures.
Some people are into stumps. You never know.
So a Chinese filmmaker, let me tell you something. Whatever you do, don't search that on Facebook or your feed will be filled with that from now on, I'm telling you.
Stump lovers.
A Chinese filmmaker has accused Jeremy Renner of sending her, quote, a string of unwanted, unsolicited pornographic images of himself.
Huh.
And when she rejected him, he threatened to call ICE on her. And by the way, she also admitted, and he quickly followed that up with saying it was untrue, but that they had a consensual relationship for a short period of time at some point.
See, there you go with the unsolicited. It's a thin red line there.
Yeah. See, now for those of us that aren't in the business, we just peek into Hollywood and this movie making that you're in, and we just see all sorts of sexual things going on in your little trailers and whatnot on the lots and everything. But you're saying that's not necessarily the case.
Who, me? Yeah. Well,
yeah.
You have to reach a certain level before you get the nice trailers.
Oh, I see.
The ones that have the pull-out bed and the
kitchen,
the refrigerator and the microwave and all that stuff.
Okay.
A lot of times you get what they call a honey wagon, which is a long trailer.
That sounds like pornographic. The honey wagon.
Well, no, not necessarily. The honey wagon, like the shitter, is basically what it is.
Oh, okay.
With the toilets in the middle and a tiny little room and a tiny little room. So if you get the honey wagon, you're in one of those tiny little rooms, and there's really not a whole lot of room for anything. And plus, it's called a honey wagon, and not for a good reason.
The honey wagon. When they call you to take the part, you go, Alpha, would you like to play the governor in the Murdoch family murder? Yeah. Do I get a trailer? No, you get the left side of the honey wagon this time.
That's sometimes how the negotiation goes. Well, can we get him above scale? Well, we can't do that. Well, how about can we get him guest star instead of co-star? Can't do that either. Well, can we get him a three-banger? And by the way, those bigger trailers are called three-bangers, which to me has more sexual content than the honey wagon.
Are they kind of like, that sounds kind of like the at like golf tournaments where they bring these trailers in.
Yeah.
And they have these really fancy bathrooms.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Shower,
for people to,
everything.
Yeah, it's got everything in it.
Yeah.
Well,
but with the honey wagon, just a few steps away, you can go do your business there.
Well, maybe keep at it. Maybe you'll get that trailer one day.
Occasionally I get it, but not always.
Now, we all have dogs. Have you ever dressed your dog up?
I honestly have not.
Well, you got a big dog. That's probably why.
She's larger.
Yeah. Mark has a little wiener. Have you ever dressed the wiener up?
Yeah.
Have you heard anything of Adam Schiff since the CR announcement?
Pencil neck, watermelon head.
Have you heard anything from him since? Because I have a video here. Apparently, he did an interview with George Stephanopoulos. Let's see what he had to say.
Senator, I know this subject matter is quite sensitive to you, but we have to talk about your watermelon head.
Oh.
I mean, come on. You do realize you have a weird-looking head shaped like a watermelon, right?
You know what, George? That is a Republican talking point, and I don't want to talk about it.
But at some point, you have to talk about it, Senator. I mean, that bitch is huge, and it's literally shaped just like a watermelon.
Can we just talk about something else, please? I can talk shit about Trump if you want.
We'll get there, Senator. First, let's talk about your pencil neck. How can you even hold that big-ass watermelon head with that tiny little pencil neck?
Who made this?
You know what? This interview is over, George. Thank you.
Yeah.
AI, nobody's safe.
It's dangerous.
I think people are going to get very tired of AI, I think, very, very quickly.
Well, until you see something like that, which is hilarious,
Let me ask you a financial question, Alpha. Over the weekend, I read a few things that were concerning. First of all, I don't pay attention to a whole lot anymore to what's going on with the markets, but gold is at like $4,300. It's like
really
almost doubled this year. It went from like 2,300 to like 4,300. And usually that's not a good sign. They say this time it's because the Chinese are selling treasuries and buying gold, and so it's created a little scarcity in the gold market and it's going up. But the markets are frothy, as they say right now. There's an AI bubble. A lot of people claim there's an AI bubble. Elon Musk just got this deal for $1 trillion.
Right.
If he meets certain performance goals with the stock. And then, you've got basically 5 companies that are all out trying to raise money to build these AI data centers, including Sam Altman at ChatGPT, who's trying to raise $1 trillion for a company that's losing money. And a lot of people are saying, this is the bubble of all bubbles. The S&P sits at 6,700, which is double what it was 5 years ago. And there are basically 7 tech stocks in there that are 40 or 50% of the value of the S&P right now, which is pretty scary. It's the S&P 500, not the S&P 7. But you got 7 stocks that are about 40+% of the value of the whole index.
Oh, wow. And I saw something the other day about the amount of debt in the world. It's like $300 trillion in debt. And who in debt to who? Who do they owe that money to?
I don't know if you've seen this, but I think I saw the same thing, and I dug around a little bit, and I don't know if this is true or not, but it was a diagram of all the debt in the world, and it was just circular. You had all these people paying each other, but you really didn't know they're just swapping money, basically.
Yeah.
And this system was created by 4 people, 4 bankers, years ago, and the debt was never designed to be paid off.
Yeah.
Who knows? I don't know. Well, I don't understand the central bank and the Fed. I don't understand any of that.
I think you play golf. When sometimes when you got a putt here, putt there, and you look at it, and you go, good, right? Yeah, good. So you'll just pick up the ball and go on.
Like
I think that's what we ought to do with this bet. Everybody, you good? Good. Okay, let's go. Let's move on. No more.
Let me ask you, what are you going to do with your $2,000? By the way,
it's a good question. Hopefully I'll see that, and we'll see what happens then. But that's
the cat's
deal.
Out of the bag. I don't listen. You know how people are. I don't think you can promise people $2,000 and not come through with it. But President Trump said over the weekend that most Americans, that's a big qualifier, most Americans would probably going to get about $2,000 from the tariff money.
Tariffs?
Now, I'm not real happy that he's doing that, to be honest with you. I mean, I'll take it. Well, how about we pay the deficit down? If we really owe anybody,
there we go. Who do we owe it to?
If we really owe anybody,
I say good.
But
let's go.
It seemed like kind of a vote buying scheme. When you tell everybody we're going to give you $2,000, that's going to make a lot of people that probably would normally vote Democratic very happy.
Yeah, because I remember back living in Kentucky, you could buy a vote with a pint of liquor out of the trunk of your car. So
same thing in North Carolina.
$2,000.
Yeah. So, it just seems like there's something else they could do with the money. I don't know what, but we'll see. We'll see. So over the weekend, I saw an interview that made me want to throw up. Jimmy Kimmel's wife.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently, she has a regular slot on a podcast called "We Can Do Hard Things" with Molly McNeary, and she was on this podcast talking about how, since Trump got elected, she's cut off contact with a lot of her relatives.
With their family.
Because they were Trump supporters. And she said, I feel like they're choosing him over me and my family and my husband. And I thought, no, they're just exercising their right to vote, for who. I have people in my family that are, heavy-duty left-wing liberal Democrats.
Yeah.
I don't not invite them to Thanksgiving or whatever. We just don't talk about politics when they're around because I know the shrieking and shrill talking will start, and I don't want to be a part of it. I know how they're going to react, so you just don't bring it up around them. That's all. We know what, that they've got twisted Democratic thinking, but we still invite them for some turkey at Thanksgiving. But get this, the part that really got me, she explained that before the 24 election, she sent out emails to all of her conservative relatives telling them and begging them not to vote for Trump. She said that most ignored her and wrote things that could only be described as truly insane. I'm guessing what they wrote back was, mind your effing business. I'll vote for whoever the F I want to.
Right.
And I support Trump. That's probably what she sees as insane.
Yeah, well, put it a little kinder. You can go ahead and piss up a rope and suck the wet end. I mean, that's kind of what they were saying to her.
If one of my relatives had written me that, I would tell them just to F off right quick.
Yeah.
Who the hell are you to write your relatives to try to tell them who to vote for? You might as well call them up and go, I'm a lot smarter than you are, and I know a lot more about how the world works, and so I've decided that as a family, we're going to block vote for Biden.
Yeah.
That's basically what you're saying, isn't it?
Yeah, well, and she's one of the producers of his show, I believe. So, I mean, she's saying to the world, here's how this show functions, and if you believe this, then you shouldn't be watching our show. I mean, it's pretty much it.
Listen, anybody who's a conservative or Republican, if you turn that show on for more than 2 minutes, you're going to get pissed off. I can tell you that.
Yeah, but if you're willing to throw your family away over that, I mean,
it's delusional. I mean, it's just delusional. That's all. But there are a lot of delusional young white women out there today.
Basically, I'm just very clear on what I want. There's a lot of boxes that need to be ticked. I know this man is out there.
Now, I'm assuming that's a woman. I almost think that it's almost like a little mustache, either that or a shadow there. I'm not sure.
I think you need to launch an investigation to prove that.
What a terrible hairdo.
And it's just a matter of finding him. 7-figure salary.
All
right. Already said morning routine.
Yes.
That includes some sort of exercise with group accountability.
What does that
as
mean?
well as some sort of very high nutrition, I'm going to say smoothie.
She looks like she just got out of a concentration camp or something, and they threw an outfit and some sort of hairdo on her. What a delusional Looney Tune. She just goes on and on and on about this list of things that the man has to have, and none of them are going to happen.
I'm pretty sure there are no high-quality guys lining up.
No, I don't think so. No. I don't think so at all. Well, what are you doing? You working this week? You auditioning this week? You've been a busy man the last week.
I have a few auditions out, and hopefully to hear back from them. But the thing you do with an audition, when you get one and you record it and submit it, you look at, because that's basically our work is to audition. And so when you do an audition, it's just a chance to act. And so I treat it that way. And when I submit it, I forget it. And sometimes you hear back from it, sometimes you don't. So got a couple of very nice ones out there.
Pleasantly surprised with an offer to come stay in the honey hole for a few days.
The honey
what do you
wagon,
call it again? The honey wagon. I'm sorry.
Honey wagon, yeah. But I do have another episode of Tulsa King coming up later this month, so that'll be fun.
I won't get to see it because I don't have Paramount Plus anymore. But
shame on you.
Maybe
man.
I'll get
Dig
a free offer.
Find it.
Maybe I'll get a free offer because I do want to see it. And
I think Taylor.
And I want
to
see Landman. I want to see the new season of Landman.
I think Taylor Sheridan's switching over to CBS though.
Is it CBS
or is it NBC? He's switching.
He's leaving Paramount he's already left.
Yeah, then I think he's going to NBC, so you may be able to get it.
He's going to one of the big networks. He's going to one of the big networks. I can't remember if it's CBS or NBC.
Carries a lot of weight, man.
Yeah, he does. Apparently, the guy that owns Oracle gave his son the money to buy Paramount and Skydance and all those companies. Larry Ellison is his name.
Yes.
His son, Larry Ellison's one of the richest men in the world, but he's backing his son. They're also trying to buy Warner Brothers right now.
Well, and they're taking CBS in a little bit more conservative direction.
Yes,
especially with CBS News.
That's why they brought in the new news director.
Yes,
that used to be with
New York Times.
New York Times, and I thought,
yeah, Barry Weiss.
Is that going to be conservative? She's from the New York
well,
Times?
she was surprisingly so. She upset a lot of New York Times readers with some of her opinions. And word is they're trying to hire Brett Baer from Fox News to come over to be the anchor of the CBS
I saw that.
Evening News.
He's denied that.
But, okay.
We'll see what happens. All right. Well, listen, we're out of time, Alpha. Thanks for being part of the podcast today. You people that are checking us out, if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe. Hit the like button and open a YouTube account. It's free. And you get top-notch entertainment like this every day. You would have never known about the Honey Wagon had you not been a part of the podcast today. But anyway, thanks for being here. We'll be back with another episode tomorrow of the Jack Murphy Podcast.
See you then.
Thanks for watching the Jack Murphy Podcast. Remember to like, subscribe, and ring that bell. Go ahead, ring it. Get alerts when a new episode drops, and tell your friends about the Jack Murphy Podcast. But only the cool friends, please. Tune in next time for another episode of the Jack Murphy Podcast.